This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am your host, Tyler, Superman of Blue, and with me is that Superman of Legacy, the one, the only, Red himself, the Man of Steel, Mr. James Cole. And the crowd goes wild. Man,
yeah, thanks.
Chat about.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. Let's just jump into it. We got a lot to chat about. First up, Solomon and I received a phone call from Dairy Queen, and we're able to go pick up a couple of the Dairy Queen Superman displays. I got the big cardboard Superman.
Oh, was that a new display that you sent a picture of?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I got a couple of the other ones. I did not get the window cling like I wanted because it ripped as they were peeling it off.
Ah, damn.
So, I know. Bummer.
Yeah.
But that
should have been
fun.
more careful. They knew they were calling you.
Solomon, Brian, and I drove to Cleveland and went and saw the Superman statue that the Siegel and Schuster Society has put up. It's beautiful. It's really, really lovely. It's right there near where they filmed. And then we went and saw, the street where they filmed parts of the movie. And it was so busy. There was some event going on. There was nowhere to park. So we're going to go back and park and kind of walk around a little bit more and everything.
Let me know when. Because I
Yeah.
gotta go out. I didn't get to see the statue. And I need a trip to Cleveland, go see all those things. I haven't lived here my whole life, and I haven't been over to Cleveland to see all these things.
So it was cool. It was nice. If you stop by your local Walmart, I got a picture sent to me. There was Dippin' Sticks, apples and caramel that had Superman on it, and it was neat. So, Superman helped promoting some healthy living. Have you been to your local comic shop recently and seen these new DC? Trying to figure out what they're called. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up here. Compact comics.
Yeah, the $10 books.
Yeah. They're $10. There's like a lot of the big time trades, and they're smaller, more like the size of like a regular book than like a comic. But
Yeah, they're almost like novel sized, almost. Maybe just a slightly bit bigger than a novel you would hold in your hand. But yeah, they have like a whole bunch of them. They've got All-Star. They've got
Kingdom Come.
They've got Scott Snyder's Court of Owls on
Yep.
there. They've got Authority. I was thinking about picking up the Authority for $10 because I picked up a couple of books recently, and we love reading the app, but there's still nothing that beats getting a comic in your hand. I still buy my trades and everything, so I love having comics in my hand, but I don't buy that many issues these days.
Yep.
And I usually don't buy much for that. I usually buy issues from another story that I want to read or something like that, and it's just so nice to have a comic book in your hand.
The one that I'm looking at going to buy is, because I don't own, like all the other ones I own, but the one I don't own is New Frontier. So that's the one I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, I don't own that one either. Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, but I thought that was different. I think that's neat.
But yeah, there are a lot of stories that will get you into characters. They're stories that have that are self-contained, kind of like an All-Star or a Kingdom Come, or even the Authority. But they're cheap and they're easy jumping on points to get you into the world because it's a full book. It's a full graphic novel of some story. So they are an easy and cheaper way to kind of jump into a character or some stories.
I think I saw Hush, and I think I also I know Court of Owls, but all For All Seasons. I think I saw For All Seasons too. But I was it was interesting. I somehow I missed that. PetSmart or Petco, can't remember right now, has official crypto costume capes for your pets. So I have to make a venture out there to go pick one up or 3. Peacemaker has come to Fortnite. So if you're a Fortnite person, the Peacemaker has now joined that ranks. So there you go. And if you're a pop figure collector, there are several new pop figures. There's a line coming up that's like classic Batman that's in blue and gray, Superman flying, Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, all like kind of flying because they're on stands. But then the other one that's not yet for pre-order is 4 new Superman. We have Yellow Lantern Superman, Black Lantern Superman. Then the 2 that I want is Action Comics #1, Hands on the Hips, very Joe Shuster Superman, and then Black and White, The Adventures of Superman pop figure. And that right there makes me very happy, just because I feel like with all the Superman stuff, like there has not been enough discussion of George
Yeah.
in like
Who's the
other.
What's the one on the bottom right? At first, when I saw a small image, I thought it was Superboy Prime, but
Well,
then
he's got the Yellow Lantern symbol on his belt, and like let's see a Yellow Lantern ring, but I don't. So I wonder if it is Superboy Prime or something. But I don't remember Superman being a Yellow Lantern,
the
unless
only
it's.
time that Superman was a Yellow Lantern that I know of was Injustice.
Well, maybe it's is tied to that or something,
Year 2, I believe.
because they don't
Um,
have descriptions
and
on
then
them.
he got rid of it. Like he didn't keep it. It wasn't he used it and then he got rid of it.
Hmm.
Because I mean, in my opinion, what would strike more fear in a person's heart than an evil Superman?
Yeah.
That's a scary concept. I know that Darkest Night Superman, I know they had a version of that black and white some time ago. It was a black and white version and it was pretty cool.
So, next thing I got here is this came out of nowhere, but DC updates Kingdom Come is being adapted as an epic audio drama. It features a 30-person cast, cinematic sound design, an stirring orchestra score. It will release on November 18th.
Oh wow, that's new. I hadn't seen that. That's awesome.
And I was like, what the heck? Like this came out of nowhere. And once again, here we are back to our conversation when we had when they released the All-Star. Like this is awesome. These graphic audios. The All-Star is up for debate, and I liked part of it, and part of it was okay. But this is coming out. I have to purchase, but yet they're doing the DC. I never remember what it's called. The podcast one that every Wednesday they drop. The DC.
Oh, the high volume.
High volume. Yeah. So DC High Volume, every Wednesday they drop, and they're doing right now. They're in the middle of doing what do you call it? Dark Victory.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm like, okay. So I'm just like, okay, it's weird that you're kind of picking and choosing which ones you're doing for free, great stories, and the ones they're charging us to be part of. So, and then the next thing I got is take it with a grain of salt, but Superman voice actor confirms he is working on Injustice 3, and that was from both Phil Lamar and George Newbern had made comments that have indicated that an Injustice 3 is in the works. So take that with a grain of salt, as you will. And that's exciting because we love the Injustice games. I feel like it's about time for a new one. They need I think DC Games needs a hit because Gotham Knights did not do what they wanted it to do, and the Justice League Kill the Suicide Squad's a game that we all pretend wish never happened. There is garbage. And
yeah, not a whole lot of great stuff on that front recently. So
and then
Injustice 3, sure.
Shane's like, bring it on.
Bring it
And,
on. I'd love
you know,
I'd love some more stuff. I would really love, I mean, heck, I've gone back to playing some DC Universe to get to play a DC game, you know? DC Universe Online. Just
Salman's been replaying the Arkham games.
I mean, I beat those so many times. I just
Yeah, I know.
at least in the DC Universe online game, you can travel to different places, different cities, different locations, and interact with the different people. You get to interact with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lanterns, many different Green Lanterns. You know, Aquaman. You get to interact with all of these people from the DC universe. I mean, they've got Vandal Savage in a place. You can just go up to different people, Gentleman Ghost, and he'll sell you stuff or whatever in a location. Like, they're just sprinkled all over the place. So at least we got that.
Mm-hmm. And then this is sad. Greg Sipes has been fired as the voice of Beast Boy. He's been Beast Boy for
Forever.
20 plus years after he was fired after he made the announcement he had gotten the diagnosis of Parkinson's. And that's really, sad that he admits that, hey, I have this diagnosis. I have this issue. And then now he's no longer Beast Boy. And I mean, he defined the character. I mean, almost every medium Beast Boy animated, he was the voice. So I don't know. It's really disheartening. It really, really bothers me that, he would be fired for something like that.
Yeah, being fired. That sounds pretty pretty rough in that that doesn't sound like it's even okay or legal or anything, but I mean, I
Right.
know a lot of people, when they get diagnosed with things like that, they tend to take a large step back from acting or things like that. You never know how it's going to progress, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He could still be moving about and talking like Michael J. Fox, not well, but or they could be completely immobilized, damn near like Bruce Willis is.
Oh yeah, he's
So
pretty much non-existent anymore. So it's a really, it's a sad statement to hear about Beast Boy here. And you never know with corporate businesses what's true or not. And it just breaks all of our heart here at Krypton Report because yeah, he's Beast Boy,
yeah, I mean he's been a good actor, a good comedy actor, and a great voice actor for quite some time. He was Michelangelo back in the 2012 TMNT show.
Yep.
He was Beast. He's been Beast Boy on Teen Titans Go forever. He even did Beast Boy in Young Justice. It was just was it Young Justice?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he did, but it was just
yeah.
a very different version. He was much more serious. He was
It was, I think when they came back for season 3 and they did the season 3 and 4.
yeah, and he
he
matured
took,
and he became a TV star and all that. Yeah.
and the same thing with he did it on the direct to video films too of the DC animated universe that we covered. So he's been there. But let's see what else. Okay, I have a whole list of stuff. The Superman dynamic duo film, the animated puppetry CG thing that they've talked about, has got a new screenwriter, and that is being reworked. They have begun filming Clayface. There's all kinds of behind the scenes things on Clayface. They're filming it. What do you call it? In Glasgow and Liverpool, where they did The Batman. People keep speculating that, it's a DCU film and it's going to tie into The Batman. People are speculating that it's a prequel to The Batman Part 2. I don't know really, because I know the script was written a while back. Because I actually listened to Mike Flanagan talk about when he wrote the script, he wanted to direct it and had went to the old DC regime and they said no. And then, the script was picked up now to make this movie, but we're 1 year away from Clayface. It'll be out next year in time for Brian's birthday. So yeah, what are you thinking on Clayface being filmed right now?
I mean, Clayface. That's Mike Flanagan. I love Mike Flanagan's stuff, so I'm really excited about that. I've seen lots of Easter eggs. Not that it matters. A bat symbol that's almost reminiscent of another bat symbol. So I mean, that's a little disconcerting, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see where that would go. But I'm excited for Clayface to shoot, and I've seen how, I've seen some of the behind the scenes, behind the set photos of him with all of his bandages on and everything. So I mean, that's going to be interesting. A DC horror movie, Clayface. Hopefully with the, because you don't want this to be Sony's Spider villain movies where they can't have
Right.
Spider-Man in them. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that you can't, of course you can't not, this being a Batman villain movie, but it's a DC Universe movie. I think you can absolutely have Batman in there. What kind of role is he going to play? Is it going to be a Batman movie? Is he even just going to, or are we going to get some Clayface and then we'll get his interaction with Batman
Right.
in the future? When does this movie take place? We've already had a Clayface in the DC universe. So does this movie take place before Creature Commandos? And in that regard, before Superman and before Peacemaker, because Frank Grillo got his back broke
We'll talk
in
more
that.
about that in a minute. But
So like, where does it take place? And I mean, there's a lot of questions there, and we kind of know that Batman already exists. That's the way this universe is. A lot of these people already exist, and he's been doing his thing. So, and the thing that we do know about Batman is when you follow Batman, you're always getting a Batman story. You know, he's always going after the villain. But he is one guy. Even if he has a Bat family, he is one guy, and he can only handle one thing at a time. And I'm doubting that while Clayface is going on, that Batman's not handling some other villain in Gotham. You know what I mean? People kind of tend to forget that a little bit. That if that you can do something in a corner of Gotham where Batman is not present because he is doing something else. Now, usually, say the Penguin show, they don't tell you anything about that. Like, what is he doing at this point? They don't even get into that, and that's one of the things that people have to say. But that's something that you can logically reach easily, that Batman is one guy. They stressed it at the very beginning. It's just his presence. The idea of him being in the shadows is what scares people, like, but he's only one place at a time. He can only do one thing at a time. So yeah, honestly, it's not a stretch to say that he's doing something else, but people can't get that unless they're told that,
I just really want, I don't want this to be kind of like Joker. I want,
Oh, absolutely not. And I think that's not going to be the case. Like they made it a point to distance themselves from it being anything related to Batman for the most part when it came to the Joker. I don't think that that's what this is going to be about.
Exactly. I want there to be a Batman part of it, even if he's not there. Just like we talked about in the Penguin show at the end, how you see the bat symbol. But I told Brian, like, I would love it if they did something where this is Matt Hagen, because they've said it's Matt Hagen, but his like stage name is Basil Carlo. Something like that, since Matt Hagen and Basil both have very similar actor kind of stories, and you're kind of like giving a nod and recognition of two different versions of Clayface.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. So,
or even if a character he played was Basil or something like that, you know what I mean? Or
because there are a
one
lot
of
of
my favorite actors used to be Basil Carlo. You know what I mean?
There are a lot of Clayfaces in the comics. Like, you look it up, and even in like they've done other versions, like in the cartoon, The Batman. There was their own version of Clayface. And I won't spoil that for anyone who's not seen that show, but they do their own version. So it is a movie that I'm excited to, just because I think it has. I don't have any personal super stakes in it, so there's a lot of hope and excitement that it just being something that's known enough in a world that I know, but yet I don't have any feeling towards it, so I won't be disappointed. But jumping over, you mentioned, let's talk Peacemaker. James and I have been doing this thing now where, just for fun, on Thursdays, we're kind of watching it together. And
just doing a watch along together.
We're not going to cover every episode. That's not what we're doing, but just certain things that I've highlighted, some things that I think worth pointing out as we track this continuity in this new world, is what we learn is in episode 3 starts off with a flashback, and every episode of Peacemaker has started off with a flashback. And it's Harcourt in bed with Rick Flag Jr. right before they're being shipped out to Corto Maltese for the Suicide Squad. And we learn that Harcourt and Rick Flag are best friends, and they just happen to be, I guess, best friends with benefits. And so we know that she really cares for Flag. That's her friend. And then, of course, Waller, under Waller's orders, Peacemaker, kills Rick Flag Jr. And I just want to say this: there is the line where they mention June, and Rick Flag and her having, I guess, they're together, have a relationship or whatever. But, okay, that doesn't mean Suicide Squad the movie is canon. Okay, it just means that Rick Flag in this world as well has a relationship with June. Okay, like it's a throwaway, almost throwaway piece of doc that I honestly really wish wasn't in there, so that people would not debate this. And would not go through this whole, oh my god, it's connected, when it's really does not. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but to me, it just means like, okay, in this world, Rick Flag, because they've talked about loose things, like things are similar but not always exactly the same. And to me, it just means that in this world, if we're looking at the Suicide Squad, because we know like things weren't as connected as it could have been in the previous DC movies. Like we leave Harley Quinn in her film in Birds of Prey, then all of a sudden she appears as part now of the Suicide Squad. Like she got recaught by Amanda Waller in the Suicide Squad, but there's no like, hey, there's no story about how she got there. So
I mean, that is something that he said, like if they speak about it or if you see it or they flashback to it, like that certain things have happened. And I think we here have talked about it a lot, especially kind of fixing it with Brandon Routh, how the multiverse has a lot of things that can be incredibly similar. So the lives that these people lead from one Earth to another can be identical, with some things that just change. Like this version, like this Peacemaker, everything he ran into it was the Justice Gang. It wasn't the Justice League, because at the time of the thing there wasn't a Justice League in this universe, in the DC universe. But there had been a Justice Society. The idea of Brandon Routh being the sequel to Superman 2. I mean, sure, Brandon Routh did nearly identical things that Christopher Reeve did, but at that point they diverge. Their world's history, their futures, and their histories are different. I don't know. I think people are trying to make it too hard. They're saying, well, if this is connected to the Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad is connected to Suicide Squad, and they're saying that he was with June, the Enchantress, did the exact Suicide Squad thing happen? Did they kill the Enchantress by crushing her heart? They didn't say that. They just said that June exists and that he is being, he's being forced to kind of be that part. I think just because they say that it exists, that it goes back and everything it touches, that we've previously seen is part of it. And he's expressly saying that's not the case. Just that the things that they do say that happened are the things that happened. I mean, he already broke all of that continuity with saying that 300 years ago, metahumans were revealed to the people of Earth. He already broke that continuity, because when it came down to it, maybe there were things like that in the previous DCEU. Obviously, Wonder Woman is older, but she didn't come to the world of man until World War I. It could be later World War II. We have no idea. The New 52, she didn't come to the world of man until the 2000s when the parademons were on Earth in Justice League War.
Mhm.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
things are different in each universe. He already broke that continuity with there being all of those people and things like that. So, I mean, even when it comes to the comics in the multiverse, you can rack your brain and try and fit so many things together. But
Yeah, and I just took it as a June. I mean, I really wish he just hadn't put that line in there and just made it like so it felt even more distinct, like that Hardcore and Rick Flag had like a best friend fling thing.
right,
Because
well,
then you're like, oh, Rick Flag's cheating on June. Like, what the heck, man? Like,
yeah. Or we could even get June. We could get a recast of June. We could get the same woman who played June, but we could still get an Enchantress again
yeah,
because that's
I
not
w-
what happened to her.
yeah, I
You
would
know what
just
I mean?
recast and do it differently. You know what I'm saying? But I would prefer them not to have that line so that we didn't have to spend time doing this, talking about it and putting our thoughts out there and just been like, oh,
Well,
um,
get this, okay? So
mhm,
get this. He's talking about June, right? He's talking
mhm,
about dating June, but the line, the scene comes before they leave for Corto Maltese. That's
yeah,
what they speak about before he leaves, before he's not going to return from that mission. So if he's still dating June at this time, they didn't kill the Enchantress, so that wipes away what happened in the end of that.
it's
You
true.
know what I mean? So if
Because they,
he could still be afraid. I mean, if he thinks that they wiped out Enchantress, he wouldn't be worried about breaking up with June.
well, because isn't there the line about her like being able to punch a hole through the world or something?
Exactly, yeah, because
So
of
that
the
means she would,
Enchantress.
and then that also brings in if that's the case, then necromancy, she could rise maybe Rick Flag Jr. from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but and then another episode we're jumping around just talking about pieces of Peacemaker that fill in the DCU continuity. We saw, episode 2 starts with Rick Flag taking over Argus and getting the file on his son, which was one of my favorite parts, honestly. To just see Grillo basically say, bring me, keep tabs on the Peacemaker because what do you call it? He learned that he's the reason why Rick
Yeah.
Flag's dead. And
I mean, at
Economos is
least he's
like,
not going right after him, but he's like, keep eye on him. So if he gives me a reason, I can bring his ass in.
yeah. Um so it was just really nice continuity. And then in the more recent episode, we're just talking about everything. We learn Rick Flag makes a comment about his back being broken and everything about recently being injured, and that ties into what we learned in Creature Commandos. So I wish he would have flat out said it, just been like, yeah, doing because he talked about, when Waller was still in charge. But hey, I like the continuity because James Gunn's even said that's the Creature Commandos reference. I'm like, cool, but you could have like flat out just said, something like
Frankenstein or Clayface or whoever it was broke my back.
or even like when I was in Polkadistan, however you say the
Pocolistan.
Pocolistan. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have James with me. So that's just things to bring up about, Peacemaker connecting the DC universe more and more, and what they're
Yeah,
doing.
we're still unsure as to they've given us more connections to the past and things like that, but we're still unsure of the motives of what this first chapter is supposed to be.
Yeah, the gods and
What
monsters.
mm-hmm. because that was something that he expressly said, that Peacemaker 2 was going to give us an idea of what the Gods and Monsters chapter is about.
And we're not done yet. So we got 4 episodes left. And like I said, we're just covering the highlights of overarching the world. Okay. So the big piece of news that we are here for. Superman, Man of Tomorrow, in theaters July 9th, 2027. Dropped on a random Wednesday out of nowhere. James Gunn, David Cornsweet, and Nicholas Hoult all dropped the announcement with different original art, all featuring Lex in a power suit and the versions of the David Cornsweet Superman. Since then, we have that. James Gunn did said he was writing the next, volume of, what do you call it? The Super Family script.
Or the Superman saga or whatever.
Yep. And he's since then come out and said that James Gunn said Man of Tomorrow is a Lex Luthor Superman movie. It's a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together to a certain degree against a much, much bigger threat. What else? Little things do I have here? Man of Tomorrow is set to begin filming in April of 2026. I'm creating the Superman sequel that we're starting to shoot in April. So that'll be, hopefully they'll be back to Cleveland for that. So, filming some of and we'll get the things that we've asked for. And then of course we will make an episode in the future of things we want from the sequel and things we don't, as we get a little bit more detail. But first of all, I want to address something. The movie is called Man of Tomorrow, and it's a double play on, as of right now, it's not Superman, Man of Tomorrow. It's just Man of Tomorrow. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a slight against Snyder because that was going to be the Man of Steel sequel's name. First of all, no, it wasn't. That was what
my sequel name.
That was what a lot of fans projected as being the sequel to Man of Steel was Man of Tomorrow. Okay, it was never confirmed. Second of all, and nobody remembers this because this was before social media, the original proposed title for the sequel to the Brandon Routh Superman was Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Superman Returns' sequel is going to be Man of Steel. It's going to be more cosmic and stuff like that. And then the reboot was Man of Steel. So it's not like there's this big, oh my God, they're taking on Snyder. Now, it's a double meeting because Lex Luthor is often been referred to as the Man of Tomorrow as well. I see a lot of people basically saying, oh, so this is now going to be like Aquaman 2. And I'm just like, dear God, I'm just like, do you not realize that there's like stories repeat themselves in patterns? It's all about the details of the story that really make the story the story,
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Lex Luthor and Superman have to work together. And it's a thread that's in there. I mean, we talked before about the current Joshua Williamson comic books, So it's not like it's this big thing outside of the realm. Oh my God, Superman and Lex are going to work together. Hopefully that bigger threat is Brainiac.
Yeah, they've worked together many times against Brainiac.
And okay, cool. So like it's a sequel and it's, it's not, everyone's like, oh, it's not exactly Superman 2, but at the same time, is it? I mean, it's semantics at this point. I'm not going to dissect everything that people say. All I know is it's a Superman continuing sequel, and that means 3 years in a row I got the S on the big screen. With this movie coming out in 2027 and Supergirl coming out in 2026. So, awesome. So
yeah. No, just, I mean, yeah, 3 years in a row. Superman, Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow. It's gonna be great. Eating well. The Man of Tomorrow has been a moniker for both Superman and Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor gave Clark that moniker in Smallville for his class presidential run. So it was, I mean, it's an interesting idea. Clearly, anybody who knows, we're excited for this. There's lots of big threats. I think a lot of us are hoping Brainiac because we want to see a big screen Brainiac. Ever
Yes.
since Krypton, we were like, you can do it well. Like, let's see it done well. As long as somebody writes a good story for it. James Gunn said that he is much farther along with the sequel than people believe. Know that his script is done, things like that. If people are kind of thinking that it's, he's only started it since he released the movie. It's kind of funny the way that goes, the way
If you
people like
listen to him
place thing in
talk,
timelines. Like, he finished writing Superman like 3 years ago. So,
if you
he's
listen
been
to him
working on the
talk,
sequel since then.
the guy is a workhorse for writing. And I highly, if you're interested, listening to the Peacemaker podcast that he does, like where they went back into season 1 and now they're doing season 2, it helps you see the universe, but it also like really helps you hear him, and like Jen Holland will back up some things about how he's always writing and working. So it really does show that the guy is always working and thinking. Now, I do want to address people have started complaining about, oh, they announced this slate and they're changing it. Well, James Gunn even said up front at the beginning, this is the slate. But there are other movies and things that are being worked on that we haven't announced yet. And he's also come out and said that this is what we are wanting to do, but we're not going to go forward until we have a good script and it's done. We're not going to start anything until the script is where it needs to be. So yeah, there are some things that were announced they were working on that haven't moved forward. That's why I just take it with a roll, man. Just roll with the punches, because there is no point in fighting over some of this stuff. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's really not worth it. Because they're going to do what's easier to film. Like the success of Superman, it's a lot easier to just jump into a sequel to that than it is to certain other things. Like he's talked about having issues cracking the Authority. And I, if you listen to my personal YouTube channel, I made a pitch for a Superman and Authority based film, and bringing the Authority and using the Authority kind of like the elite. And that's how you bring in the Authority into the Superman world for, the third Corn Sweat film. And speaking of like, so that's just some of the things I've heard people complaining about. And I feel like that's people who's not really paid attention to everything that's been said and discussed about what's been going on and what Gunn's doing.
Well, that's also kind of part of the problem too, where it's the 24-hour news cycle. So every time he says something, people are making an article about it. We're looking at lots of these said articles, lots of these quotes, things like that. There's a lot of people digging into it, but they get just a little thing, and then they like speculate an entire universe off of something that might have only a thing in the next film or the next episode of TV, but like it's this whole universe exploding quote, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So most people aren't even checking on that stuff like we are. So, hoping that the DC Universe Peacemaker season 2 ratings are really good. Superman, the movie, Superman's video on demand and digital sales have been like
They've been good.
amazing is what they're reporting. So
dude, what makes me mad, and this is like one of those things I see, people are complaining like, oh, Superman only did so many thousands on digital on demand, right? well, Black Adam did 1.5 million on HBO Max. I'm like, yeah, that's a whole different thing. Like when Superman drops on HBO Max, we'll see what the numbers are there. You know what I'm saying? Like dropping on a streaming service you already subscribe to is a different bracket of data than when you do the paid
Video on
price.
demand.
Yeah, video on demand is when you're paying $20 to rent it compared to watching it on a subscription service you already subscribe. So
and
like
the one thing that they always do and is the amount of ticket sales, the box office numbers, like that video on demand, especially since COVID, that has been a thing that people have done. People wait for movies to come home. They can rent a movie for $20 to $25 and their entire family can watch it and they can microwave some popcorn. When you've got a family of 4 and you go to the theater, it's costing you $60
yeah,
just for tickets to go see that. People are not doing that like they used to be doing. They are waiting for that video on demand. They are
because
waiting for that digital sale. They are waiting for it to drop to streaming. They are doing that, and people are acting like that's not a thing. Like they're just not seeing it.
because there's not a rental market like there was before with like a Blockbuster or anything, or even what do you call it? Redbox. Like it's all gone, it's all wait till streaming or these video on demands. And I really think the video on demand and the prices fluctuate too. Like I was looking at the Ballerina the other day. It was $10 to rent or $12 to buy. And now it's like $20 to buy and $5 to rent. I think the window needs to be longer before things are on streamers.
It does, but also, how much were ticket prices 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Oh, I know.
12 years ago when Man of Steel came out? What were ticket prices when Superman Returns came out and Batman Begins came out and The Dark Knight? You know what I mean? What were ticket prices then? They were literally half the cost.
I mean,
literally half the cost of a single ticket.
You
We're
have to
going to
take in.
sell less. People don't go to the movie theaters because it's a specialty thing now. It's not movies that people are going to see and they're going to see it over and over and over and over again. People didn't see, people saw Star Wars and things like that in theaters because tickets were so cheap. People just went and saw it over and over and over
But you
and over.
didn't.
And they weren't going to
you didn't-
see it at home forever.
Right. You didn't have direct to video markets. You either saw it in the theater and that was it, or if it came back to theater, that was it. You didn't have the home. I mean, you really have to look at, and you can take a movie like, what do you call it? Like Superman, for example, that franchise, and look at just dissecting the culture of movie and time, uh, when it came out. Like you just said, looking at, when Superman Returns came out, the culture of movies. When Man of Steel came out, the culture of movies. And now, I mean, digital on demand and all these new streamers have changed the movies. So you got a whole different bracket of what's successful, what's not. I mean, and that's for not just for everything. It's a difficult market because people wait for streamers because like why go to the theater? What is not everyone looks at theatrical experience as something positive. They want to watch it in their home because everything's made to be quick and disposable and the next thing. And the last little piece of news that I got, and I meant to bring this up before, and this is something that frustrates me. Okay, when you're building a new universe, right? James Gunn says the prequel novel Superman Welcome to Metropolis isn't DCU canon.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, then why do you make it?
Yeah.
You
Why
know
do
what
you
I'm saying?
make it? Why did you say in the back then that books, games, movies, TV, all these things were going to be tied together, And then the first piece that comes out, like to expand on your your first major title is not part of the canon.
And that's where I feel like James Gunn needs to step back as like the writer and director as much, and be
Well, my hope is at this point be more of the head, the architect.
yeah, so
That's
that you have
what I'm.
writers that are specifically for Superman,
Yeah,
you know, and then
that's
you're
what I'm.
looking
That's
at
what I'm kind of hoping in this, as it is right now. Like he's got a lot of these projects like front loading the DC universe, and he's really kind of opening up the DC universe with these early projects. But I hope that he's only got the one area of focus when it comes to like writing and making these characters is just where he is now, and he's not going to be doing that for more and more characters as we go. That he's right here with these groups of people that he's got, but you know, how's he building from here? How's he orchestrating and creating what's to come with other writers?
yeah. No, I agree, because if you had someone like who was like more in that producer like role, like, okay, this novel works, this doesn't, this is the story, this is part of the world. Like, I'm very surprised that we don't have like tie-in comics or a book of the Justice Gang, of how Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl all came together. Because I feel like that's the stuff that we could be milking out of this universe and really getting behind. But that's all the news that we have. We look for more of the Man of Tomorrow, but we're not going to be those people that's, going crazy on every little thread. Like, just going to roll with it. I'm not going to
Yeah, I want to see
dissect.
what the DC universe is, not what
I'm just,
everybody is speculating it is online.
we were so obsessed with the previous stuff that it's like it burned us to a point that I'm just rolling with what's going on. And when I get more concrete, stuff is different than listening to people. But plans change, plans adapt when you're building a new universe and everything, and whatever is better for the universe than. But more Superman on screen. All right, let's bring it on.
Absolutely. I mean, I already miss my favorite Superman, but I'll live. I enjoy what we got now, and I'm happy to see that he is going to progress. That he's got more movies. He's got a sequel. He's got family with Supergirl. You know, yeah, we're eating good as Superman fans, and it's great.
Yeah, it is. But Man of Tomorrow is just a moniker of Superman, just like Man of Steel, the big blue Boy Scout, the last son of Krypton. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like the Cape Crusader, the Dark Knight, Batman. Like, I think the film with Lex Luthor being up front reflects the comics. I mean, anytime that they try to do live act, they try to reflect more of where current comics are. So I think that it's smart, so that if someone does go from watching the film to trying to jump into comics, there's some similarity. There's enough that they feel they're a part of the same universe and started the same story, even though it's different. Like if you were to do, a film and then just completely change it, it might throw you off. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just happy that there's a good place right here, that I think a good majority of general audience and comic book fans are enjoying where we're kicking off and might want to go see something else coming further down the line. I hope it's a good. I hope that it's starting to repair some of the damage that Warner Brothers had done to the DC brand on film.
I agree. And then the last bit of news, I know I probably said it again, but that just happened. Breaking news. Posted by Mr. Superman Corn Sweat himself. Is that Superman will be on Max Friday, which is weird because it'll be on Max this Friday and then Friday the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will be on video, like physical, the 23rd, that following Tuesday. And I just say that it's weird because we had talked before, like, it would be nice if they gave it some time to breathe and then drop it like on Max is like this Thanksgiving, spend time at home with Superman, or something like that.
Right.
But it just kind of sucks because it's like we'll start getting all those different numbers we were talking about, but but what I'm interested in about it is not that people will see it, but this whole like it says HBO Max will launch an in-app Superman takeover featuring Daily Planet homepage redesign, Fortress of Solitude hub, hidden portals that transport users to Lex Luthor's pocket dimension for an immersive experience. And then, like, you look at Lex Luthor's pocket dimension, and then there's like Jon Snow, Peacemaker, Katniss Everdeen, James McAvoy.
I'm pretty sure I saw Rick and Morty on there, or
Yeah.
Rick on there, Rick Sanchez,
and Ian Somerhalder. Looks like Timothy Chalamet, and some other DC stuff. And then it says unsung heroes of HBO Max, and like you see the Alfred Pennyworth, Samwise Gamgee, Neville Longbottom, Lois Lane, like in Daily Planet articles. So I'm kind of interested in what that's going to be. So yeah, and then Scott Snyder released. He's doing a one shot called Absolute Arkham. It's gonna be straight up horror. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
But yeah, I mean that's all the news. But how do you feel about Superman on HBO? Like already, like after us having these conversations about, man, it'd be great to just kind of like give it some time to.
It would. It's 2 months. It's been 2 months. A lot of those movies hit pretty quickly like that. I mean,
so let's see, July to August to September.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's pretty quick. It's still quick for everything that's been happening. I mean, the trend. It was 45 days a couple years ago, when it would go to PVOD and whatnot. But yeah, just taking it over to Max.
It's just weird because I don't know. You think you just want to give it like time, you'd stagger it like on a streamer is like your last thing.
Yeah.
Like you drop the home physical release,
right?
Then you put it on a streamer.
Well, if any other numbers are to be believed out there, I mean, it sounds like they just want to get it in front of as many eyes as possible because it made the money it needed to make.
So
so they could keep moving forward. Keep executing their plan.
It's all about the plan. So, but all right, let's do this. So we're going to talk. We were waiting. We're going to talk Absolute Superman, but we're just talking 2 issues because when James and I were looking at it, because we've been letting it build up, is the first arc ended, and then there's like these 2 issues are not so much standalone, but it says in issue 8 the new story starts here. So
yeah, they're not necessarily standalone or anything, but One is more Superman and his history in Smallville, and the other one is Brainiac and the history of this Brainiac.
So let's start with issue 6. Now I don't have them in front of me.
But each one has things that push the current story, the progressing story forward. It's not all flashback.
Yeah, because Sayla took iPad that has my stuff on it. So
well, Absolute 6 is in Smallville, and we got Deep Space 6 years ago, and 8 days since Krypton exploded.
It
8 weeks and 8 months.
Yeah, it breaks down how long he's been and how long, and like him just searching in like Soul, saying like, trying to find a habitable planet and not being able to find one. So this isn't like he's being launched to Earth. Earth just happens to be the planet they discover that can sustain life.
Yeah. And he has no idea, and Soul doesn't even really know the effect that the yellow sun has on him and the dust, how it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
But he lands at the Kent farm, having pretty horrible seasons, or a pretty horrible season of growing.
Yeah, we meet the lovely Kents.
Mm-hmm. Clark's getting his powers. He breaks a bed. He's flying. He's heat vision.
It's interesting because like they talk about them not having any rain because Lazarus has drones that they see going around, and basically Lazarus is blocking them from being able to get any rain. And like you said, they find him after they're talking about their miracles, and he wakes up and like sprints out, and then it takes a little bit before Soul comes online.
Yeah. And then after it does, he can speak with them, and Soul disables all of the Lazarus drones, which allows it to rain for like 3 days straight. And then Lazarus comes to arrest Clark because of an anonymous report of an immigration violation.
Mm-hmm. He's got no papers. It's all some bullshit. It's pretty rough.
Yeah. He ends up kind of fighting with the Lazarus people, but he leaves. He flies off. And that's kind of the last we see of the Kents there. And then we get Lois.
Jonathan. Because Martha, we find out like Martha is basically Alzheimer's. And it seems like what's interesting, it doesn't seem like it's that long like time, but when you look at how they draw Martha at the beginning of the book and then how Martha is there at the end of the book,
yeah,
like it looks like she's a lot older.
Right. It does. He's been here for a little while, maybe not his entire life like before, but
they said like 6, but it's like 6 years or so, like right there at the beginning. So like I said, it's only been like 6 years.
Yeah.
But she has dementia, and she's in a nursing home, and he goes to see her, and she's yelling for Jonathan. She calls Clark her angel. So, and you were talking about Lois. What's Lois up to?
Yeah, she goes to Smallville to talk to Martha Kent, find out that she has Alzheimer's. But she says she's a friend of the family. Then we go to the Nevada desert, to Lazarus Corp Research and Development, where we get Ra's al Ghul.
I think it's sweet that the villain here is Ra's al Ghul. We got him rising from the pit. And I mean, it's called Lazarus, so come on. You know, like
yeah, it was kind of expected, so it was not like a surprise.
But I like it because they're rebuilding this absolute world and they're doing more than just the regular style that we're used to. You know, like, oh, Ra's al Ghul Batman villain.
Yeah. Well, he's in control of the world, you know, for pretty much with Lazarus Corp, you know. So it's kind of what he always dreamed of doing, is controlling the world. So he's kind of, in that regard, that character. So I mean, that kind of makes him a supremely larger threat, even though even as he is a supremely massive threat.
I love it. All right, take us to the next one, Sketch.
The next one we open at what appears to be the same Nevada desert location, and the Omega Men are breaking in, and they get attacked and basically start melting and stuff.
Yeah, they do. It's intense. The weapon they get's fire rips the one dude inside out. He even said, like, there's even the thought bubble of him like throwing up his own guts. He's like, am I throwing up my own? You know, and it's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense spore weapon that does a lot of crazy stuff to these people. There's a gun that makes them melt, and the spores that like transform them, change their physical appearance and size and all kinds of craziness.
So, I mean, it's a pretty intense thing. But what we get to see is we get to meet Brainiac. And we get the history of Brainiac. And this Brainiac, dude, this is like serial, like killer, psycho. Brainiac.
Oh yeah, he destroys a bottled city. Just throws it to the floor because he's freaked out about who Superman is and where he came from.
I mean, he don't care about that. Like, the whole scratching his like his own brains hanging out, and this reminds me of like a Scott Snyder Joker, but it's Brainiac.
Right. We've got so Brainiac many years earlier, this model begins his life mode.
He is like basically created just to do like trash refuse work, and like he does it, and then all of a sudden there's no more, and he's wondering where it's at, and he goes up top, and we learn that all the Brainiacs basically on the ship are gone. There are no more, and now he's Brainiac 1.
Yes, he is.
So And then I guess he makes like they're more like collective and hive mind than before. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he sees on a monitor at least that there are a lot of different like brainiacs out in the universe. So like his ship and the thousands and tens of thousands of days that he's been doing the one thing, his ship is the only one left. And I think after he realizes he's the only one left out of all of them, I think all of them suffered the same fate.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like the only brainiac left.
So yeah, it's
He's twisted though. I mean, here at the end, we're kind of back in modern times, and one of the Omega Men that he was experimenting on, he just knocks his brain jar over to the ground and smashes that, and then he's operating on Peacemaker. Peacemaker saying
Chris
that he
Smith.
wants, just kill me now, kill me already, and he's just infusing his body with alien technology.
Our good pal Christopher Smith. I mean, he's that Omega Man he's experimenting on. That's a pretty crazy, twisted scene when you look at it. Like, because he's got him like pulled apart, but then like hooked back up with other wires and stuff. And it's pretty gnarly. Not gonna lie, like it's pretty gnarly. And he's got like robot legs. Now it sounds redundant, but like they look more like your standard robot legs, like Darth Maul when they brought him back the first time in Clone Wars. You know, not full on like legs; they're like bent backwards and everything. So it's very interesting, how they have him in this. So
yeah, he's a pretty that Brainiac is very like he's always been like the control aspect, controlling everything in the universe and knowledge and all that stuff. But this one's kind of more, a lot more sadistic.
yeah, and I think it fits. I mean, all the choices that are being made, I think, fit with the idea of what the absolute universe is. Controlled by Darkseid, created by Darkseid energy. Superman, even as being as bright and hopeful and powerful as he is, he's still wrestling with a lot of just out of place. He doesn't have the same kind of bringing up. So I look forward to more of Absolute. This is one I want to buy in the trades. The first trade did come out. I want to get that
hardcover and paperback.
So I'm going to pick that up here soon. Everybody, that's what we covered. Just some quick news. And then, but then we just wanted to hit on those Absolute. So let us know your thoughts on Mana tomorrow. And hopefully they'll be back to Cleveland.
And if you're enjoying Absolute Superman,
let us know.
Look up in the sky, the birds,